We were in a bit of a spin, I think you could say. We were in a spin, taking everything that came in. We've had the time now to really get a firmer sense of our identity, where we want to go and what we're on this planet to do.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. The hospitality sector is known for its innovation. From food trucks to pop-ups, quirky collaborations and more. During the last decade, we've seen a throng of amazing small operators providing fun solutions for celebrations, cocktail parties and large-scale events. But COVID put a stop to all of that. What will happen to the entrepreneurs that chanced their arm on bespoke experiences that added colour to the hospitality world? Nicola and Byron Woolfrey are the owners of Trolley'd. Nicola and Byron, how are you going?
Really well, thanks. Huck, thanks for having us.
There's lots to talk about here because you guys have had monumental changes to your business, but could you start by telling us what Trolley'd actually is and how it started?
So Trolley'd, we're a mobile bar and events business. We use upcycled airline trolleys to go around to people's parties and mix cocktails using ingredients that are locally sourced organic, lots of native Australian ingredients and foraged ingredients.
We started by purchasing the fleet of Ansett airline trolleys. So that was about 10 years ago through a mate. And then that's the whole repurposing theming came in then. I think a couple of years later, Byron jumped on the sort of organic native train, and we've gone down that path pretty heavily now. And additionally, we do experiences. So we have taken the airline carts. We picked up a plane from Alice Springs, a Shorts 330. We repurposed that as well. So we've got a cockpit stage. We have an airline hangar, a fuselage with seating for 36 people. We've done everything from, festival stages, just kind of big corporate experiences, through to the, more bespoke mobile bar at your home or corporate events. So yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I'll give you that.
I just want to go back a step. You just sort of nonchalantly said you picked up a plane from Alice Springs. Can you tell us more about that and where the plane is and what you use it for?
Yeah, cool. So we got a Shorts 330. So it's a 30-seater plane that doesn't quite reach altitude, so there's no cabin pressure on it. They used to call it the coffin with wings, not because people used to die on it, just because it used to be so slow. So it was sitting at Alice Springs Airport. We actually found an ad on Gumtree for free because they've been waiting to get rid of this plane for 15 years. It used to do the run out to Papua New Guinea. So I actually borrowed my old man's ute, took my cousin out, a demo saw and 9-inch angle grinder, and we chopped it up, dropped the first 6 meters off the cockpit on the back of the ute on a boat trailer. And then the other 12 meters is at our mate Alex Olsen's farm up there, which we had to get with frantic cranes and semi-trailers and a whole heap of other stuff, which was a good part of expedition. We bought the plane back. It took us 4 days to get back from Alice. We could only go 80 k's an hour. We did a loop around Uluru, which broke the ute. We made it back, take it to parties and make people's dreams come true.
How did this, why did this start? Why it's such a sort of left of field idea and you've had a lot of success with it, but what drove you to sort of go down that path?
The aviation path with regards to that, because we had the airline trolleys and then, a lot of the theming with our uniforms and everything was to draw attention to the ergonomics and versatility of the actual airline trolleys, because they're so ergonomically engineered just for efficiency. And that was part of bringing it down to that. And then the next part of that was, obviously the sustainability message that we'd like to convey. But from doing that, our obsession with aviation equipment has kind of come up. Everyone kept calling us, like, oh, do you want this? Do you want this? And we got a few sets of seats. And then next thing you know, we've got seatbelts and we've got everything. And we picked up a plane and we just can't get away from the aviation theming right now. I quite love it. I get addicted to eBay. I get into lots of trouble. Actually, I just bought these little dolls these little air hostess dolls. They're great. These little Barbie dolls that are our new mascots as well. But yeah, no, got to stay away from eBay for such things.
Yeah, it's pretty much just an extension of the airline cart um, purchase, and Byron's always on Gumtree, eBay, and spending money on things that we perceive to be ridiculous until they arrive, and we find some way of, adding a little creative flair and selling it into a courageous client and having a great old time.
What's the craziest event that you've done?
I think that the best New Year's Day this year, so 2020, we put on. It was our second airline stage, and it was a party in the clouds concept. We managed to get the events organisers Novel and Let Them Eat Cake to give us some big cranking sort of smoke machines, so people kind of looked like they were dancing on clouds. We had, the bar was set up with the airline windows. We had the fuselage in all its glory with kind of really thousands of people through it on that festival day. So to me, that's my fave. What about you, Byron?
Yeah, it's pretty special down there. That's like, it's on the Werribee Park Mansion. On the grounds, it's like the Botanic Gardens sort of grounds down there. It's just it's a great setup. Working with those guys, it's a great crew, and then that's for New Year's Day, and then we have kind of like get super have tasty drinks going out for that, and then we get super creative for the after party, which goes on at the mansion and stays at the mansion.
Well, Byron, you mentioned that there's a sustainability thread through the business. Can you tell us a bit about that and the direction you've taken as the company's evolved?
Yeah, like we pick a lot of the produce that we use, so we're very seasonal in that regards. From that product that we pick, we'll take it back. We'll make syrups out of it. We'll dehydrate that, mark after we've made the syrups, uh, put that into booze, infuse the booze, and then we dehydrate that again, and then stick that in with salts. So, and then composting anything that doesn't go there, getting the seeds out of what we've got, we'll replant that, and each way along the way, just thinking of how to do it with minimal impact, with maximum output. There's certain things like our goal is to get to net zero. We do everything we can. There's always hurdles along the way, but we also have it as an opportunity to we get to people's parties and we open that discussion of people having being able to party sustainably and incorporate that into their events whilst having fun.
It's a lot about the storytelling for us. So we've started with the reduce, reuse, recycle, regenerate ethos, and we're sort of moving towards re-empowerment as well. We're putting on these lunches, wild feasts for a new age, but also in the educational component of what we do. The sort of COVID has forced us to pivot, so we've launched new product. We have launched a Trolley'd at-home cocktail kit, and it's all about re-empowerment. I mean, we give our Trolley'd at-home cocktail kits. They include all of the ingredients that you need to produce 3 tasty native wild food syrups. We also collaborate a lot with, really he's been a mentor of ours over the years, Diego Bonetto, the weedy one. And the first in our lunches that we've just done, we've collaborated with him and his wonderful wife, who's also a stylist and a glorious cook. So yeah, I think that the theme is about re-empowerment. It's about helping people to regain the knowledge. There's sort of this lineage of knowledge that has been skipped a generation because we are so used to going to supermarkets and purchasing things wrapped in plastic. So that re-empowerment and helping people connect back to nature through whether it's a product, through what it's an experience of ours, through the drinks, that is a big part of what we do.
Being a mobile bar and events company, the COVID would have impacted you quite dramatically. Can you tell us, what it was like during that early times in March when the industry got shut down and what impact it had on you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we went from our busiest weekend on record. So Mardi Gras for us, we had every single one of our trolleys out. We had events, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It was vibing and very exciting. And from there, we went to the last festival before lockdown, Pitch Music Festival in the Grampians down in Victoria, where we did the Artist Liaison VIP bar and also put on the Main Stage Festival bar. So we were kind of, coming along in leaps and bounds in terms of our business, our creativity. And we came back from that festival in March, and pretty much within, it was 1 to 3 weeks, but mostly the brunt of it, within a week, we had all of our gigs. We had festivals lined up. We were going to be going up the coast to do other stage builds. So we had everything cancelled. We were in a big warehouse as well in Newtown, which was Flight Club, which we keep the plane there and all sorts of things. So we had to make some really dramatic decisions about how we structured the business, and we tried to negotiate with our landlord at that time. There were huge overheads because it was a really big place. But we thought, we are a mobile bar and events company. We already had, relative amounts of equipment in storage. So it sort of forced us to rethink whether we needed that huge space or not. We were really fortunate to be part of a group through City of Sydney. It's a program. It's called the Retail and Hospitality Initiative Program. And we were part of one of 20 businesses. They do it twice a year. So we travelled through this kind of really uncertain time with quite a lot of support, in business support, and also just we had a WhatsApp group. We were able to sort of text each other. So we faced this unprecedented, unknown kind of situation with a lot of people with small businesses in a very similar situation. And there were some amazing stories of, incredible pivoting, and also some of these, entrepreneurs just coming up with new ideas that really was the flavour of the time, like cookies and bagels and pop-ups. So part of this program, we plugged into weekly sessions. So there's sessions on, whether it's marketing or whether it's the financial side of your business, or just kind of innovation guidance. We were plugged into these tutorials and groups, and so everything needed to go on. It went online. We had all of our sessions on Zoom. And we had incredible support as well. So it's broken up into 4 modules. And through that, we've actually had this concept on the boil for a few years now with just our cocktail kit. But we were able to sort of tailor that kit and get a lot of kind of really quick feedback, bring it to market as well. We did a little soft launch, and we developed the online experience aspect of these of the kit as well. So not only do you get the kit, but you get to come online and have a aviation themed session with our trolley dollies and crew. So we do that every 1 to 2 weeks, and as well as that, we just got access to some incredible guidance in terms of I suppose, pitching our business to financiers, and just taking it to the next level. We also we were very fortunate to apply for a City of Sydney grant, and we had success with that. So we've been pouring all of that into working with local creatives to help us build our new website. Create the packaging. It's all of the packaging in our kit, because of the sustainability messaging, needs to be compostable. It needs to be sustainable. So we've been focusing a lot of energy on that. And I think it was just having that support, not only the moral support, but just the really the experience and the wisdom to enable us to travel through the initial COVID times with the support we needed, really. I won't say relative ease, but it helped a lot.
Well, let's have a look at that sort of when you said relative ease. What has it been like personally for you both, having created this unique company and having to move everything in another direction at the drop of a hat. How have you coped with that?
Like we were going at about well over our maximum capacity right up to the lead up of when it happened. So from doing that and just stopping has like I think it's made us a lot stronger in the business, and it's given us the opportunity to refine and to rejuvenate. Like I initially I just dropped out. I was broken around that period. I went from being so busy to so dead. I spent the majority of my time in the garden, which has kind of helped me to get around growing a lot of the ingredients that we're using now. Just getting in touch back with the earth and getting in with the kids and growing everything that type of out has helped me get inspiration for drinks and to have fun again. There's a certain amount of when you get too big, you're working a lot harder and things are just they're spiraling out of control, and you're not really stopping to acknowledge and to take breaths and to look at the possibilities. So we've for me personally, it's been a good opportunity to grow and to just search for a bit of that depth and find out what the company means to me and what opportunity it has to be able to pass on the knowledge.
Similarly, I think we were just in such a spin. We were so busy and we were growing so fast. And then just to go from our busiest weekend on records to nothing. At first, I snapped straight into kind of action mode, really, making some big, serious decisions. But I actually quite enjoyed. I have expressed a lot of gratitude that I was in a position to be able to enjoy the downtime. And for the first 6 weeks, just took a lot of time to process and yoga and, get hydrated and do all the things healthy people should do.
And to grieve, I think, is a thing as well, isn't it?
Yes, grief. Yes, my grieving came later. Byron's came straight away. Mine came a bit later. But it's given us this opportunity to put systems and processes in place. And gosh, the future is uncertain, but in many ways it does feel like a blessing to be able to, we were in a bit of a spin, I think you could say. We were in a spin, taking everything that came in. We've had the time now to really get a firmer sense of our identity, where we want to go and what we're on this planet to do,
You were fortunate to put a bit of energy into an event that you launched last weekend, which was Wild Feasts for a New Age. Can you tell us about that event and the deeper discussion that you want to have through this?
Yeah. So okay, like from everything, from acknowledging the ingredients in the world around you is that's a big part of our product. Like for example, some of the drinks on it, there was a celebration of dandelion. So dandelion, for me, is one of the most amazing plants that grows around. You can have the flowers, you can turn into wine, you can have the leaves, which are really healthy and nutritious. You got the roots, which are they're great diuretics. The first cocktail was based around the dandelion. There was a dandelion root tea foams, and it was kind of like having that springtime chat, because this is a plant that it's in the top 10 plants in the world of nutritional value. And every time it comes around to spring, there's an ad on TV from Roundup where they just spray it and kill it straight off the bat. And it's like that is opening a conversation. That is what we need to think more about. It's stuff that got looked about, that are because foraging is a massive part of what we do, and that's all of our drinks. We provide that journey and experience for people, and a lot of that is the discussion about the histories of the food, where it's come from, and in the 50s and the 20s to 50s, that kind of dropped out a lot. That whole foraging aspect, because it was considered what people, you got no money, you're out there foraging for yourself, you should be going down to the supermarkets. And that whole mentality, it's only a generation or two that it's been washed out. And it's in our DNA. they're going out there and knowing about the foods that are around us, and people, we're just rekindling that experience for people out of having events like that. It's the opportunity for people to, and the same with our cocktail packs. It's not about us teaching people how to make a margarita or whatever. It's like, here's some ingredients that we've got that we've sent to you. You can substitute this for that, and you can grab it. Don't go to your pantry. Go out to your backyard and pick some ingredients, and then we'll talk about it. We'll make a cocktail with it. And it's that. We don't have the answers, or I don't see that we have the answers, but we've got a great group of people that are around us that share their knowledge, and they're up for talking about it, and we're part of that conversation. And we use these dinners to bring everybody else into that conversation and tell us their stories of what they used to pick when they were a kid, and why, going out and getting the blackberries and finding the snakes. And these are the stories that people start telling you about. Then they sip on the cocktails, they eat the food, and they go out and they walk around in that environment.
Absolutely. And we started our feast. So we started with a smoking ceremony. Everyone sort of gathered. We were going to have the lunch out on the terrace. The weather was not amazing. The sort of mist set in. We started with a smoking ceremony from Auntie Trish from the Gundungurra. She brought some medicines as well for us to try. And from there, Diego Bonetto, the weedy one, he took everyone for a forage. And I think a lot of the people who attended, there were some who knew Diego and had come through, his circles, but there were other people who had never, didn't really understand what foraging was. And there were minds that were opened, which was really kind of humbling to be part of. And from there, we went up and we started our 8-course degustation, which was it was drinks paired by Byron, and Marnie Fox was the chef, and she's also a stylist, so she did all the beautiful table places. And look, everything was delightful, and I'm proud to say that I've never ceased to be amazed by the Byron has this innate ability to not prepare overly, seemingly. And just impressed. I was so impressed with the drinks that came out, and we will have lots of photos and lots of follow-ups with what was in them. But it was amazing, and we're talking to just kind of trailblazers, established chefs, even emerging talent, people who are so the theme of the event is it's an interpretation of what is wild and foraged, and taking the sort of theme of the event and spinning it and making it their own. So we've got plenty more of these lunches lined up with some really amazing talent. So stay tuned for what's on the radar.
It's been some time since you held an event until that. So what was it like running an event again?
It was we limited the numbers, so we had quite an intimate connection with all of the guests in the lead up. We had conversations about social distancing, and we had the check-in and all of the usual sort of stuff that goes on. So it was certainly not as fluid as it was previously, but I think that the theme of the event and the intimacy just sort of added to the flavour. So we're still buzzing.
1.5 metre intimacy.
Yeah, we're still buzzing. It was on Sunday. It's a few days later. And I think all of us, Diego, Marnie, myself and Byron, just had a wonderful, wonderful experience.
How are you feeling about the events industry and the model that you had built and what's happened in this time? Will Trolley'd be a different sort of offering beyond COVID?
A big part of our business, the business development, was events and staging, and that's in our hearts big time. Is just sort of like this it's almost like a primal need to dance and experience that coming together, the community, letting off steam. So we're all in this together. We need to sort of find our way through it, through the muddy waters. Heart has gone out to one of our biggest clients is based in Victoria. And yeah, we work with a lot of festivals. So yeah, it's uncertain times. I'm hoping that we will. I don't know what I'm hoping for, but I don't think next year looks like there's going to be much change, but maybe the year after we will be, out dancing again. What do you think, Byron?
Yeah, and it is drawn back to keeping it local and the minimal impact thing. I think it's going to, like, out of coming out the other side of it with enough time that has been there to reflect, I think the industry people are going to appreciate the product a lot more. I think noticing at the moment we do lots of events for 15 to 20 people, and for that group of people, there's the conversation. Everybody in that group has a conversation with themselves. When you're doing events for 100 people or 150 people, there's a lot less of that interconnection that goes on and that intimacy of people with the conversation. So everybody who, like, from the events that we've been doing, are walking out and they're just everybody you get to have that experience with, and they're really appreciative of, like, everything that the product, the story, and the joy of being able to socialize with their close knit group of friends, and having those conversations. So I think that energy, I think, will everybody in the world was going 100 miles an hour. No one stopped, like, before that, or maybe there's a few Zen people that were out there, but we weren't appreciating. I'm speaking for the human race as a whole right now, because obviously, I've got the criteria to be able to make that judgment. But, like, everybody was going, everybody was going through, and, like, they weren't stopping. They weren't stopping and smelling the roses as such. And since then, people have smelt the roses, and that beauty that's in life is what we are trying to convey in our product right now, and the environment that's around it, and that if people want to hear that story again, and I think that's where, like, as we grow, just to have that incorporated a lot more into the events, and that sustainability thing, and that minimal impact, and that giving back, and not being as selfish, is all part of the story that we're hoping comes out of 2021. Yeah, and moving on.
Well, Byron, being the cocktail whiz that you are, this question might be for you. But, what would be the ultimate COVID cocktail?
The ultimate COVID cocktail. It's I would like to say something using ingredients in your backyard, something that you want to do, something that you haven't made before. Um, Cocktails are pretty simple. Like, at the end of the day, you can play it up. If you've got a bit of sour there, you got a bit of sweetness, and you got a bit of bitterness from the booze. The possibilities are endless. So just using stuff that you've got. Most people who haven't drunk their bars dry during isolation have got something in there that they haven't used. It's like, cool, learn about that. Like, working into the herbs and stuff that are around, the things that you don't normally have, like the vermouths, playing with stuff like that, and then using stuff in your garden, taking a photo of it, and send it to us, like, via our Instagram channels, and we'll tell you what it is, and we'll give you a suggestion of how to use it into a cocktail, and then give that a go, and then try something else, like using stuff that's grown locally and having that connection to the earth. I think is the ultimate type of way of introducing that into a cocktail and having the experience moving forward. Does that make sense? Is that a bit of a cop out, not giving you a name of a cocktail out of that?
No, I think you handled it really well.
Yeah, sweet, good, very good.
I think we could probably supply a list of 8 cocktails from the event on Sunday, which would hit the mark.
Yeah, sweet, that'll work. But nothing specific. Just do something new. Use something that's out there. Like, there is stuff. Like, people, it's simple to do. It's simple to make cocktails. Get one of our kits, and we'll give you all the lessons that you need. Teach you how to fish, and then you can go make cocktails by yourself. Just make sure you get us for the big parties type of party.
And mocktails as well. Don't forget the non-drinkers.
Yeah.
There are a lot of non-drinkers out there, and equally you can have a tasty AF mocktail.
Yes.
Sounds amazing. Well, Nicola and Byron, let's hope we see Trolley'd events, or the large events, flying high again soon. We've loved having you deep in the weeds today. Keep in touch and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks so much, Huck.
Nice one. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for having us.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. Stay tuned as we share the stories of Australia's hospo community, suppliers and producers in search of hope during this pandemic. Special thanks to executive producer Rob Locke for making this all happen. Follow us on Instagram at Deep in the Weeds Podcast or email us at podcast@deepintheweeds.com.au. Stay safe and be well.
Hello.
Hi, sorry, it sounded like there was a lawnmower or something.
It sounds like you're like in a hangar and someone's fired up the plane. This could be an Easter egg at the end of the episode or something.